Good evening, and welcome to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm Nicodemus, and I will be your host as we take a look at the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. And remember, none of this is financial advice. And it's 10 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, September 16th, 2023. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we have no sponsors, no hidden agendas, and no BS. But we do have the news, so let's talk about that. Tonight, we're diving into the DOJ's critique of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried's proposed jury questions. Then we'll unpack both the SEC's reversal on sealing documents in its case against Binance US and the exodus of top brass at Binance. We'll also explore the legal tussle between Gemini and the digital currency group, scrutinize Japan's regulatory overhaul in favor of crypto startups, and close out with Mark Cuban's brush with an $870,000 crypto heist. The U.S. Department of Justice criticized FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried's proposed jury questions as unnecessarily intrusive. Both parties submitted questions to help select a fair jury. SBF's questions probe jurors' opinions on FTX and ADHD, which he takes medication for. Prosecutors argue these questions aim to cast SBF in a sympathetic light and advance his defense narrative. They've also requested high-speed internet and headphones for the trial. SBF faces over 100 years in prison if convicted. He stands accused of using billions of dollars in customer assets for failed investments. He has shown no remorse, blaming everyone but himself for FTX's collapse. His lawyers want to question jurors about effective altruism, a philosophy that SBF claims to follow. Prosecutors see this as a tactic to portray him as a good guy. Prosecutors also pose questions about political donations and lobbying, calling them irrelevant. They've accused SBF of witness tampering, and he's currently awaiting his October 3rd trial in jail. The DOJ's pushback against SBF's proposed jury questions is a battle for narrative control. SBF wants to frame himself as a misunderstood altruist, but the DOJ isn't buying it. They see his questions as a ploy to manipulate the jury's perception, a tactic that could have far-reaching implications for the trial's outcome. SBF's lack of accountability is glaring. His refusal to accept responsibility for FTX's downfall and the billions in lost customer assets is a window into his mindset. This is someone who was willing to gamble with other people's money, all while cloaking himself in the guise of effective altruism. The prosecutor's focus on tech infrastructure for this case is noteworthy. It suggests they're gearing up for a complex, evidence-heavy case. That's not the kind of trial you intend to lose, and they're taking every precaution to ensure that. SBF's upcoming trial is a moment where the crypto community needs to ask itself tough questions about accountability, ethics, and the kinds of leaders it wants to champion. Because if SBF is the best we've got, maybe it's time for some soul searching. Okay, folks, that's the DOJ and SBF in a courtroom tug of war over narrative control. But guess what? The SEC is also doing its own dance with Binance US. If you're intrigued by courtroom dramas, you won't want to miss this. Don't forget to hit that follow button for more deep dives into the crypto world. The Securities Exchange Commission reversed its decision on sealing documents in its case against Binance US. District Court Magistrate Judge Zia Faruqi approved the SEC's request to unseal or remove the redaction from 18 sealed documents and another 9 partially sealed or redacted documents. These documents were initially sealed at the SEC's request and are now being unsealed at the SEC's own request. All of these sealed documents were filed on August 28. Binance and any non-party can argue against the unsealing for 7 days, and the SEC will have 7 days to respond. The SEC's case against Binance US was initiated in June and revolves around claims of unregistered securities operations and other improprieties, including wash sales. Binance US had requested a protective order against the SEC in August. The list in Faruqi's order does not encompass all of the sealed documents filed in the case. A proposed order filed by BAM, the Binance US holding company, on September 11th, along with the SEC's opposition document and 8 exhibits were filed as sealed and are not mentioned in the order. The SEC's sudden reversal in its case against Binance US is a significant development that raises questions about the agency's initial motives for sealing those documents. Could it be that the SEC is feeling the heat from the crypto community's scrutiny, or is this a strategic move to put Binance US in a tight spot, forcing them to reveal potentially damaging information? The timing of this unsealing is also intriguing. It comes at a moment when Binance has been experiencing a significant turnover of senior executives, including the stepping down of CEO Brian Shroder. Now, we'll get to that talent drain here in just a minute. As for the SEC's actions, this could be a calculated move by the SEC to add more pressure on Binance at a time when the company is already facing internal challenges. Moreover, the SEC's decision to unseal these documents could potentially reveal criminal accusations against Binance US, adding another layer of complexity to an already convoluted case. This move could dovetail with the SEC's claims regarding Binance US's uncooperative approach and purported opacity during the agency's investigation. In a landscape where the crypto industry is under constant regulatory scrutiny, this development is a clear signal that the SEC is not backing down in its pursuit of alleged improprieties within the crypto space. It's a reminder that the regulatory landscape is becoming increasingly challenging. So as we watch this legal drama unfold, one thing is clear. The SEC is playing hardball, and Binance US will have to tread carefully in the coming weeks. This case is far from over, and its outcome could have far-reaching implications for the crypto industry at large. The SEC's unsealing spree adds more heat to Binance US. But hey, it's not just documents that are being opened up. Doors are swinging open too. I'm talking about the exit doors at Binance US. Stick around, we're diving into that next. And while you're at it, give us a like if you appreciate this level of insight. Brian Shroder was the CEO of Binance US. I say was because Shroder resigned. The departure comes amid a layoff that saw 1/3 of the company's workforce exit. Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao attributed Shroder's departure to the need for a break. Shroder had been with the company for 2 years, and under his leadership, Binance US raised capital, improved its product and service offerings, and gained significant market share. The company also faced a decline in trading volumes, dropping from $17.6 billion in March to just $290.4 million in August. Two other top executives, Krisha Juvati, the head of legal, and Sidney Majalya, chief risk officer, also resigned. Binance US is currently embroiled in legal battles with the SEC and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. The exchange is facing lawsuits over alleged violations of SEC and CFTC laws, including the sale of unregistered securities and mishandling of customer funds. The departure of Brian Shroder is a symptom of a larger issue that Binance US is grappling with: increasing regulatory scrutiny. CZ's statement may have downplayed this situation, but the facts don't lie. A 1/3 workforce reduction and plummeting trading volumes are not signs of a company merely taking a break. CZ's attempt to quell fears and rumors surrounding the departure seems more like damage control. The exchange is clearly under fire from regulatory bodies, and this could be just the tip of the iceberg. The appointment of Norman Reed, a former SEC, New York Fed, and Ripple executive as the new CEO, indicates a strategic move to navigate these choppy regulatory waters. The crypto market has evolved, and the regulatory environment is becoming increasingly hostile. This isn't just a Binance US issue. It's an industry-wide concern. But for a company that's been a major player, these challenges could either make or break them. The question now is, can Reed steer this ship through the storm, or will Binance US become another casualty in the ongoing battle between crypto and regulation? Binance's executive exits underline the regulatory siege crypto faces. But while they're tangled in legal woes, Gemini is in a legal showdown with the digital currency group. Keep listening, you're not going to want to miss this one. Now, if you're all about holding power accountable, make sure you subscribe. Gemini has been in a legal battle with Digital Currency Group and its subsidiary Genesis. The dispute centers on a lending program called Gemini Earn. DCG proposed a bankruptcy recovery plan for Genesis, which owes around $1.2 billion to Gemini. DCG's plan suggests that Gemini Earn users would be made nearly whole, but Gemini's lawyers have called this misleading. They claim the proposed recovery rates are a total mirage. DCG owes more than $1.65 billion to Genesis, which in turn owes some $1.2 billion to Gemini. The repayment plan would span 7 years and 2 tranches. Gemini's lawyers argue that the plan allows DCG to pay through inadequate below-market loans. They also accuse DCG of trying to wear down Genesis creditors to accept a lesser amount. Gemini filed a court statement accusing DCG of fraudulent activities and gaslighting. They claim DCG devised a $1.1 billion promissory note to conceal financial losses and mislead Gemini's creditors. DCG allegedly borrowed a substantial amount of Bitcoin from Gemini instead of providing capital. Gemini is pushing for DCG to pay over $630 million as part of a missed loan payment back in May. The legal wrangling between Gemini and DCG portrays a glaring example of the risks and pitfalls in the crypto lending space. When DCG says that Gemini users would be made nearly whole, What they're not saying is this would happen over a 7-year period. 7 years in the world of crypto is an eternity. The value of assets can skyrocket or plummet in that time, making the term nearly whole highly deceptive. Gemini's lawyers are spot on when they say that DCG's proposal is like paying with IOUs instead of real assets. This is a classic move to evade responsibility while keeping the creditors at bay. DCG is using legal maneuvering to avoid paying what they owe, and that's not just bad business, it's ethically questionable. The fact that Gemini is taking a strong legal stand is commendable. It shows they're not willing to let DCG manipulate the system at the expense of their users. This ongoing legal battle is a microcosm of the larger issues that plague the crypto lending industry. It underscores the need for transparency, accountability, and fair play. And as this case unfolds, it will undoubtedly set precedents that could either fortify or undermine the very principles that the crypto world holds dear. From one legal quagmire to an entire nation changing its tune. Yes, we're talking about Japan and its crypto-friendly pivot. And if you believe in crypto's global impact, hit that notification bell. Japan recently eased regulations on startup financing, allowing them to raise public funds through the issuance of crypto assets instead of traditional stocks. This move is specifically available to a category of funds known as Investment Business Limited Partnerships. The Financial Services Agency, Japan's primary financial regulatory authority, also sought to amend the tax code related to cryptocurrencies. This amendment aims to exempt local businesses from the year-end unrealized gains tax on cryptocurrencies. The Japanese government's plan is expected to be submitted to Parliament as early as next year. This regulatory shift aims to diversify the financing options for startups and align Japan with international standards in handling digital currencies. This new rule would add digital assets to the list of investment avenues available to firms looking to invest in budding crypto startups. The average funding size in Japan's venture capital scene has jumped by more than 390% year over year, from $65 million in 2022 to $321 million. This is a seismic shift in Japan's approach to crypto, and it's one that could have ripple effects far beyond its borders. For years, Japan has been seen as a conservative market, especially when compared to more aggressive markets like Silicon Valley. But this move signals a change in that perception. It's a clear nod to the growing influence and acceptance of digital assets, and it could set a precedent for other countries to follow. The FSA's move to amend the tax code is particularly noteworthy. Taxes have long been a sticking point in the crypto world. Japan's decision to exempt businesses from the unrealized gains tax could be a game changer. It's a move that not only benefits businesses, but also sends a clear message. Japan is open for crypto business. But let's not forget the timing. This comes at a time when the US is cracking down on crypto, with the SEC taking a more aggressive stance on initial coin offerings and digital assets. Japan's contrasting approach could make it a more attractive destination for crypto startups and investors alike. So what does this mean for the community? Well, for one, it could lead to a surge in startup activity in Japan, offering a much-needed boost to the country's crypto ecosystem. It could also attract a more diverse range of investors, potentially democratizing startup funding. And let's not overlook the potential for increased liquidity, as startups will have the flexibility to trade or utilize these assets for various purposes. Japan's latest move is a step in the right direction. It's a move that not only fosters innovation, but gives power back to the people, aligning perfectly with the ethos of decentralization that the community holds dear. Japan might be rolling out the welcome mat for crypto, but even seasoned players like Mark Cuban are getting tripped up on security. And if you don't want to miss out on vital security tips, like this episode now. Mark Cuban recently fell victim to a phishing attack. One of his crypto wallets was drained of over $860,000 in various tokens and NFTs. The hacker made off with $555,000 in Lido-staked Ether and $175,000 in USDC on Ethereum. Cuban was able to salvage millions of dollars in tokens and his CryptoPunk. The hack was first spotted by Twitter user WazCrypto. Cuban later confirmed that he was the victim of a phishing attack, claiming to have downloaded a fraudulent version of MetaMask. Cuban also managed to salvage $2.5 million in USDC on Polygon by transferring it to Coinbase before the hacker could make off with it. The USDC stolen by the attacker was on Ethereum, not Polygon. Cuban was also able to save his CryptoPunk, worth at least $77,000, by transferring it to another wallet. Cuban's other wallets appeared to be unaffected by the hack. This incident just goes to show that even the most seasoned players in the crypto space are not immune to security lapses. Buterin's X account was hacked just the other day, and now you've got Cuban, a prominent figure in the crypto market, who downloaded a fraudulent version of MetaMask, leading to his own hack. This raises questions about the security measures even experienced crypto users take and highlights the need for constant vigilance. The hack is a classic case of phishing, but with a high-profile target. The fact that Cuban was able to salvage some of his assets shows that quick thinking and immediate action can mitigate the damage, even if it can't prevent the attack entirely. The incident also brings to light the vulnerabilities associated with hot wallets. Cuban's experience serves as a cautionary tale for all crypto enthusiasts. It's not just about having strong passwords or two-factor authentication, although those are important. It's also about being vigilant every step of the way. This is especially true when dealing with significant amounts of various tokens and assets. No one is invincible in the crypto world, not even billionaires like Cuban. Always double-check the apps you download, be cautious with dormant wallets, and act swiftly if you suspect any malicious activity. Because in the world of crypto, it's often the world of the quick or the hacked. So, what happened? In the DOJ battle against Sam Bankman-Fried, the focus isn't just on the legality of the jury questions, but also on narrative control. SBF's efforts to paint himself as a misunderstood altruist are met with skepticism as the DOJ preps for an evidence-heavy trial. The SEC unseals key documents in its case against Binance US. This is a move that could put Binance in a tight spot, especially as they deal with executive departures and plummeting trading volumes. The SEC is clearly not backing down. Binance US is losing top executives, among them CEO Brian Shroder. With dwindling trading volumes and a one-third workforce cut, the company is clearly in hot water. Regulatory scrutiny is tightening, and Binance has to navigate these challenges wisely. Gemini and Digital Currency Group are locked in a legal battle over a $1.2 billion debt. Gemini accuses DCG of misleading tactics and fraudulent activities, calling into question the ethical boundaries of crypto lending. Japan is easing crypto regulations for startups, a contrasting approach to the US crackdown. The charges could fuel startup activity and attract a diverse range of investors, potentially turning Japan into a crypto haven. Mark Cuban fell victim to a phishing attack, losing over $860,000 in crypto assets. This incident serves as a reminder that even seasoned players are not immune to security risks in the crypto landscape. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, subscribe, leave a rating, or maybe a review. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.